Yo, what's going on, guys? Trey back again here to bring another video. This one's going to be talking about an interview recently, or I guess you could call it an interview, but it's kind of like Emerald City Comic Con, which was last month. Jon Bernthal and Lori, forget her last name, the actress who plays Andrea on The Walking Dead, pretty much did a convention, that kind of stuff, and they pretty much were in front of the Emerald City audience, and they were asked a few questions, and one of them was Jon Bernthal's version of the ending. So his version of the death scene for Shane's character. He pitched this idea to the writers, and apparently, according to him, they shot it down. They didn't like it. They denied it. And they went with the ending that they had for themselves, or not the ending, but the death of Shane's character as they had it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the link right here. Go ahead and click this link. It'll bring you to it. It's about 5 minutes long. You get to hear what he has to say. Then come on back and you can hear the rest of this review of it. So basically his thoughts on it are this. To sum it up, everything is the same up to the point where Rick and Shane are out in the woods, that kind of stuff. And Shane tells Rick that he's killed the prisoner, all of that, points his gun at him, tells him to raise his gun. Rick, instead of handing the gun to him and then stabbing him, Rick throws his own gun, okay? And then basically, showing to Shane that he's not going to do it, he won't raise his gun, and then Shane kind of walks into him, says the nasty stuff that he said to try to get him angry, pushes his gun into him, and then basically tries to get Rick to kill him. That's when Rick pulls out his knife and stabs him and does kill him and puts him down. And then after that, so Shane's gun should be somewhere around, like, dropped on the ground right next to Shane. And then after Rick has killed him, Shane will reanimate. Carl doesn't get there yet, though. It'll be like a little bit longer than how it was in the actual death scene. And then Rick will grab Shane's gun. Okay, so remember, Rick throws his own gun before, so now he has to grab Shane's gun and put it at zombie Shane, back up a few steps and go to fire. And when he fires a couple times, but each time it goes just click, click, basically that the gun would be empty. So, and then Carl comes up and shoots Shane dead. So this version of the ending, or his version in his mind, would just pretty much paint the picture that Shane did in fact want Rick to kill him. He was not intending to kill Rick. He never meant to. He never intended to. He was getting Rick to kill him. So for whatever reason, the writers didn't like that idea. I think it might have actually been better. Yeah, I gotta say, I think it'd been better than the actual ending that they went with for Shane. I think that it's more interesting because it's kind of like Shane committed suicide in that way, got Rick to kill him, and also sort of gave like, put him in that position that he had to do it, but it wasn't real because his gun was empty. So he never intended to kill Rick in the first place. So that's pretty interesting. I think that probably would have been the better way to go, and probably would have been an actual better death than the character actually had. But the ending, the way it did happen, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't think of it that way too, because the ending is ambiguous. There's pretty much two ways it could have gone down. One was that Shane did intend to kill Rick, and basically when the time came to do it, he cared about his friend so much that he couldn't just do it. Because if you think about it, asking him to raise his gun and stuff like that, if you've already made up your mind that you're going to commit this murder and everything is going to plan and all that, you're just going to do it. You just shoot the guy. You don't talk and tell him to raise his gun and all this kind of stuff. You just don't do that. So either basically he couldn't kill his friend when the time came to it. He thought he wanted to. He cares obviously about Lori and Carl and the baby and all that, so especially the baby probably. And he just wanted Rick out of the picture, but when it came time to actually physically do it, he couldn't do it because he cares about his friend so much. So you can either look at it that way, which makes sense, or you can look at it Jon Bernthal's way, which is that he wanted out. He didn't want to be around anymore. It was too painful for him, and he wanted Rick to kill him. So the difference is basically Jon Bernthal's ending, goes for that one, which is that he committed suicide basically and had Rick kill him because he couldn't do it himself. The ending they went with allows the viewer to decide which one they want to go with, which way they want to see it. Neither one is 100% correct, because to support the Shane wanted Rick to kill him, he was saying things to him to talk him up, telling him to raise his gun, telling him he had a weak boy, talking shit basically to him to get him pissed off, to get him to the point where he killed him. So you can look at it that way. But then on the other side of it, when Rick went to give him the gun, Shane's face, he kind of like, went to the side and was kind of like, like looked like he was kind of losing it, but looked like at the same time that he was going for what Rick was saying, and that he would have just gone back with him, and that neither him or Rick has to die. So it's really up to the viewer. It's ambiguous on purpose. And if you want to look at it like Shane was basically doing that to get Rick to kill him, it fits because he was saying those things that we uncharacteristic of Shane. We've never seen him say things like that to a character, and he was just doing it to get Rick to kill him. Or vice versa, when the time came to do it, he couldn't. So the question is really in his plan, in Shane's plan to commit third-degree murder, basically. Did he actually want to kill Rick, or did he intend to get himself killed? That's up to the viewer to decide what was going on in his mind. Totally up to the viewer. Whatever way you want to look at it, you wouldn't be wrong either way to go. Hopefully in the third season, maybe we'll get some flashbacks from Rick's mind and him thinking about it and him deciding, which way it was, like which way he thinks. If he thinks that Shane wanted, Rick to kill him, or if he thinks that, he just basically couldn't do it because he loves his friend that much that he couldn't pull the trigger when the time came to actually do it. Either way you look at it, Shane's intention is really the question about it. And does it matter one way or another? No, because you can look at it either way. You can look at it as Shane didn't really, either way, he didn't really want to kill Rick. And but he didn't want to continue living that way in that situation. So pretty much he either whether he planned to have Rick kill him, or he just basically was like, it's going to be either me or him. Either I can pull the trigger, or he can, and let the better man win. And when it came time to do it, he loved his friend to such an extent that he couldn't actually pull the trigger. So that's my interpretation of the ending, guys. Let me know what you think about it in Jon Bernthal's ending. I like it. I think it would have been better than the one they went with. But either way, it doesn't matter because you can look at it either way. Later, guys. Peace.